Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Ask Barry V Show. I'm Barry Vanover. This is Miles Baker, and this is episode 57. We got some really good stuff for you at the very end of this, so make sure you either scroll to the end or, if we're not boring you to death, watch the entire show. This show is brought to you today by Krispy Kreme Donuts. So Mr. Baker's had 5 this morning already. So, no, I'm joking. Get these donuts out of here. We don't eat Krispy Kreme donuts. Do we look like we eat Krispy Kreme donuts? No, no way.
Health and fitness.
Yeah, I smelled one. I picked it up and I smelled it. And I did lick the side of it a little bit, but then I put it down. Right. So I think smelling it sometimes is all you really need to do. You don't have to put it in your mouth and chew it and swallow it. So, anyway, all right. First question.
Where are we starting? First
Wait
question?
A minute. Sponsor of the show.
Yeah, okay.
Again, this week we're sponsored by Studio Pro, your martial arts management software and billing software. It is designed by martial artists for martial arts studios specifically. Studio Pro is giving you 6 months free service to try Studio Pro out. That is an amazing deal, and you can check out the details and schedule a demo at your studiopro.com. And by the way, you can ask your questions. Now, here's the only way that you can ask a question now for this show is to go to barryvanover.com, and there is up at the top in the menu is a button to ask show, and then down in the middle of the page is a place where you can click a button, pulls up a form, and you can ask your questions for the show there. So no more am I checking Twitter,
Facebook,
no more
Twitter,
am I checking the
email,
bottom of every video on YouTube. Somebody, I noticed they'll watch videos that they haven't seen, like episode 37, but they're asking a question now, and I just can't go back and do all that and all that. So that's the only way you can ask a question, barryvanover.com. Okay, go there, ask your questions for the next show. All right, let's get started.
So the first question for this week comes from Ken T. He says, I'm a one-man show. I'm getting burnt out, and worse, things are not going well. Any advice to help me turn things around fast, or it might be the end of my school?
Well, Ken, I would ask, why did you wait so late? You know, this is a good lesson for all martial arts school owners and just business people in general. You know, when things are going really bad for 4 or 5 months in a row and there's no actions happening, stuff's just not going to get better out of nowhere. Now, if you got a plan and you know you're working hard and you're doing some things to turn things around, you got to give it time to see if it works. But if you're doing the same old thing day after day and you've had 4 or 5 months of bad business, nothing's going to happen, right? Because nothing's happening different, right? So don't wait, man. If you guys are in that situation, start working to turn it around quick, because you know what? Frankly, you can wait too late, and it's just too hard to come back from. It's like getting down, 20 points in an NBA game. It's NBA playoffs. Yep. Every time a team gets down 20 points, they struggle to get back. Actually, Golden State came back with the Spurs game 1, like 25 points that came back. Yeah. So
but
anyway.
they must have changed their course and took major action to make that happen, right? To come back.
Yeah. So. Plus, Spurs guy got hurt. What's his main guy? Okay. What's the main guy's name on the Spurs? I forgot.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he got hurt, twisted his ankle, went out, and they came back immediately.
So either you got to take major action, or you hope that your competitors get hurt or go out of business. Right. One of the two things. Right. Okay.
No, but that's probably not going to happen. Right. All right. So let's help Ken here real quick. I'm getting burnt out, and absolutely. Here's your advice. If you're a one-man show, you're burnt out, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're beaten down, and business is not going well and it's not looking good. Man, you got to concentrate on first things first. You got to concentrate on the one action that can turn things around quick, or at least turn things around enough to give you some time to really fix this situation. And that first thing is simply signing up some students fast. Bill Clark used to say, there's nothing wrong in a martial arts school that 20 new students in 1 month can't fix. Yep. And that is so true. Yep. So, Ken, how can you sign up 20 people in 4 weeks? 20 people will bring you $2,500 $2,500 a month in revenue, which is probably going to help dramatically. Those people are going to start paying test fee. If you've got upgrade systems in place at your school, which you should, you can upgrade those people in 4 to 6 weeks. So now you got more upgrade money coming in. You got t-shirts and supply sales, and it's going to help build your confidence and add energy to your classes. So how can you do that? Well, to me, there's nothing faster to sign up new students than our mass intro systems. Okay? Because now, granted, I don't know what's going on inside your business. If you're doing this bad, you probably don't have a good website that's generating leads. You're probably not doing much or understand much Facebook marketing or digital marketing. But man, do you have time to put that in place? Yes, you can call some great companies. You can call, Mike Perella's FCOM, and you can get a site, and they're going to drive leads to your school. We can do websites for you, and our clients drive leads into their school. That's going to take a little bit of time. But man, today, Monday, you can go out and you can start passing out cards to invite people to this weekend to an event. You can go to daycares and see about doing a presentation on Monday, trying to go in 2 or 3 days later and see all the kids and invite them to your school this Saturday for their second lesson, get a free uniform, earn their white belt, and break a real board in front of mom and dad. You can do that. You could have people come to your school for mass intro and sign them up this weekend with very short notice, but you got to get busy. So to me, that's the fastest way. Now, yes, birthday parties are great because they gather us leads for introductory lessons. We can funnel them into the mass intro, but you got to schedule the birthday party. That might not happen in the next week or two. But man, just your mass intro systems, yes, try to round up some birthday parties. Go out there and find a place in your community this spring and do some promotional moves and meet people and raffle off some free memberships to gather leads and do our promotional booth systems. We have 5 things at every promotional booth to gather those ever important leads. Get on the phone, make some calls. Every lead you've gotten in the past 6 months, pick up the phone and call them and tell them about your summer special, or tell them about your special free event you're having this weekend, mass intro, and get busy. That should be your first thing. Now, first things first also means one more thing, and that means you got to quit wasting time on things not that don't matter, but also right now, bro, you got to quit wasting times on things that do matter. Keeping statistics, running your management manual, cleaning the school, all that's so important. But man, there's nothing more important than you focusing on signing up 20 new students in 4 weeks. All right. That's a complicated question. I hope I've given you some ideas and focus and energy. If you need help, Ken, call Mr. Baker, call myself. Every email we send out, there's a link where you can click and schedule an appointment to talk to us. Okay. Good luck, bro.
Our next question comes from Bob L. He says, can you explain how your school conducts stripe testing, when you do it, how often, and what you do it for?
Okay. Stripe tests, man. Maybe some of you call these, what do people call these? We always did call them stripe tests, evaluations, tip test is another one, So this stripe testing and graduation is very important. So I'm going to just blow through some details of this. And let's first define what stripe test is. If you have 3 months of for each belt testing cycle, at the end of every month, end of month 1, we do an evaluation, a stripe test. End of month 2, we do an evaluation. End of month 3, we do an evaluation, and then that leads right into the next weekend, that last weekend, graduation or belt exam where they get the belt. So really, a child or an adult students, they're really testing 3 times for their belt, not just 1 time. Because if they fail the stripe test, if they fail 1 monthly stripe test, well, they're either going to have to make up that information or look better the next time to earn 2 more stripes. Plus, a stripe test is a visual for the student to see their progress. And it's a visual for them to see their progress and a visual for your instructors to see their progress on their journey to their next belt. Now, stripe test or tip test come from the fact that we put a piece of tape, electric tape, on the end of their belt. We use a different color coding systems that match our 6 qualities of a champion. All that's on instructoruniversity.com, by the way, with all that details. And that's where the tip or the stripe concept name came from. But listen, that's a piece of electric tape. And that's all it is if you don't make a big deal about stripe testing. Stripe testing should be a sense of nervousness for the kids. excitement for the kids should be a big deal. If you don't make a big deal, it's not going to be a big deal, and it's just going to be a piece of tape. It's going to be almost formalities, and nobody's going to take it serious. You know, I liken stripe testing and graduations to me and Mr. Baker are basketball fans, and think about this. Every time a kid comes to class, that's a practice game. That's practice, right? Whenever you have a stripe test, that's like a big game. They're going to win or lose, and that kind of energy needs to be talked about throughout the entire month, right? Week 1 and 2 of the month, you might not be mentioning it. Week 3 of the month in review week, you need to be going, guys, we're reviewing all this stuff. Stripe testing's coming up soon. You guys got to look good if you're going to be successful. Use that stripe testing to hold them accountable for their actions, their training, and their results for the entire month. And then, so stripe test is a big, big game, right? And then graduation and that final test where they get their belt, that's like a championship game, so to speak, right? Even a bigger deal. So, you know, that's what stripe test is. We conduct them at the end of every month. That's when we do it, on the last Wednesday and Thursday of every month. And understanding to make stripe test a big deal and show the importance for it. Okay. So anything you want to add to stripe testing?
That's pretty much it. I mean, like you said, it's really about putting the importance on it.
Yeah.
You know, we've been to plenty of schools where you wouldn't be able to tell if it was stripe test day or just a normal class, right?
Yeah, and you should, you know, because you're going to line the students up. We treat it like a little mini graduation. We start the warm up by taking them through a bunch of basic martial arts skills, and we tie in a bunch of personal development concepts with that, and get them answering those questions. Then we set them down and bring each belt rank up. Maybe you got 3, 4 belt ranks, each belt rank up at a time to perform their information in front of the other kids, their techniques in front of the other kids.
That's a big one. That's to give the kind of testing feel
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, your instructors have the clipboard. They're taking notes so that they know what everybody needs to work on the next month, right, to be successful. Can a kid fail stripe tests?
Oh, that's a great question. We get that question.
And the technical answer is yes. But to me, if that kid's coming twice a week and meeting his attendance requirements, it should be hard for him to fail stripe test. Because if he's coming twice a week and fail stripe test, it's kind of the instructor's fault that they failed. Now, if they're not coming, they don't have enough attendances, then yes, they need to fail stripe test. They'll get their stripe, and they need to make it up next time. I'm not going to say every now and then you're going to have a kid that struggles, that probably didn't deserve the stripe. But I would much rather fail them on a stripe test, help them get caught up and look good on the next stripe test, than to wait 3 months, comes up to belt testing time, and we tell the family they need to wait another 3 months, man. Now you're pissing people off, and really it's not their fault. It's your fault for not helping them and noticing they had a problem at that time.
Yeah.
All right, our next question comes from Karen Ass. She says, 4th of July holiday is on a Tuesday this year. We expect a low attendance that week. Do you ever shut your schools down for an entire week?
You know, back when I had one big school and I was teaching every night and I was such a control freak that I would close the week between like Christmas Eve till January the 2nd, right? And then I would close for spring break, the whole week for spring break, because that's really low attendance because all the kids are traveling. And then like a week like 4th of July, or now our schools have fall break, right? And I would close for literally 2 or 3 weeks and shut the school down because I wanted to go off on vacation. I understood that my staff needed a break and they needed to take time off. And I wanted to take time off and not worry what was happening at my school or what wasn't happening or what bad things could happen while I was off on vacation. So I told my staff, look, these are your vacation months throughout the year. There is no other time off. Plan any trips around these 3 weeks or so. Yeah. And then, of course, we'd take those long holiday weekends like Memorial Day's coming up, and we'd take off that Friday, Saturday, and Monday. So there was plenty recharging time for them. So the answer, that's my answer. I think it's okay, but you got to remember that taking a week off is no excuse not to hit your goals for that month. So understand, you got to accomplish in 3 weeks in July, which is could be a bad time of the month. You got to accomplish in 3 weeks what you normally do in 4 weeks. Okay. Now, that flip side of that, right, is if you got a big school with tons of amazing professional staff, I would rather never close and rotate those staff and give them different vacations and different breaks and just stay open all the time. If you're staffed with professional people you can trust to keep things going, and that depends on what kind of career, where your school is at in maturity level, right? So the true answer is I would rather never close, but if you're not staffed in that situation, then just for peace of mind for yourself and give yourself a break and your staff a break, I think it's okay. Just try to remember to make up your financial goals during that time.
All right, absolutely. Our last question comes from Kyle B. He says, I'm wanting to hire a full-time person to help me. Should I hire an instructor or someone to help with signups? And how much should I pay them? Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. We get that a lot. There's a lot of variables there, right?
Yep. So which one? Let's do the first one. Okay. Should he be instructor or should he be program director? Well, you know what? For the sake of your business, you should do the task not the task you want to do, but you should do the task that you're best at. Okay? Yes, it's tempting to do the task that you want to do the most, but what's best financially and what's best for the business? Now, eventually, if you do the right things, you're going to have plenty of instructors and program directors. You're going to be the owner of the business. You're going to run the ship, and you're going to do whatever you want whenever you want. You want to teach class one night, teach. You want to program direct one night, program direct. You want to take the night off, take the night off. But right now, you're telling me you're a one-man show and you're getting ready to hire somebody. You do the task that you're the best at, that's most impacting, whether it's program directing and sales and intros, or whether it's teaching on the classroom floor. As far as finding an instructor or finding this employee, it's always probably easier to find someone you can train to be a program director, because they don't have to be a highly skilled martial artist. They don't have to be a high-level instructor, and they don't have to be a black belt. Right. They just need good personality, good organization skills to be a great program director. So that might play into your decision of which one's easier to find, right? Okay. Now, as far as how much to pay them, I've heard all kinds of things where certain people say that, here's the minimum salary for a certain position in the martial arts industry. I don't think there is a minimum salary for any position. I think you have to look at your own finances of how much you can actually afford. You got to find a person that will accept that amount of money and figure things out for them that way. And so often we find people that, frankly, they're the wrong people, but because they'll work for almost nothing or for free, we bring them in. Yeah. Now, I'm a huge proponent of paying people well, okay? But everybody's different, man. I meet a guy, let's say I met you right now. You're in your early 30s, you got 2 kids, you're a great martial artist. Yeah. You're going to cost me more money than the 23-year-old that dropped out of college, moved back in with mom and dad, but he's a good martial artist.
Yeah. Well, just that like kid's I have changed over the last 10 years working for you, right? Yeah. So when I first came, it was a certain amount of money that was fine for me, but my life has changed a lot in the last 10 years.
So you're going to meet these people that are wanting jobs or positions. You got to find out who they are and what their financial requirements really are. And don't trick them. If you can't afford them, let them go. Because if you're tricking them and you're promising all this stuff, and then you don't deliver, it's not going to work, right? So there is no exact amount, but you got to basically, my advice is find out how much they need and what they're really looking for. And be honest and tell them how much you can actually pay and what you can do. I can pay you this much money, but I can give you this kind of a bonus on performance, and that's all I can do. And then let them decide. Okay, there is no exact amount that you're going to start somebody off on, I don't think. All
right.
Oh, is that it?
That's it for questions.
All right, let's do the tip of the show is brought to you by martialartsmarketing.com. All your printing needs can be met there. Everything from business cards to nice folders to put the memberships in when you sign somebody up, to marketing cards, to brochures, to, if you do door hangers and banners and everything that you need there. Great graphics, great prices.
So Ken T, who gave them the advice of starting mass intros and going out and seeing these people and inviting them back. That's where you find those invitations to give those kids to come back.
Which I'm glad you mentioned that, because that happens to be the
that.
tip of the show. Here's a marketing piece that you need, and every martial arts school owner needs these setting in their storage room ready to go. And one is a mass intro invitation card. And this one is awesome. Now, this one's not what this one says here, but it would say, awesome job on your first lesson. You're invited to Premier Martial Arts this Saturday at 10 a.m. to take your second lesson. Receive a free martial arts uniform. Earn your first martial arts belt and break a real board in front of mom and dad. You need these cards in hand, because just like Ken, if Ken had these cards in his hand today, he could go out and do a school talk this afternoon and hand these cards out and expect people to show up on Saturday. But you can't wait till you schedule something and then try to find cards. Right. You should have them intact.
When we open a new Premier school, that is one of the first.
That's what we tell them. Make sure you got this, right? And then, you always have them there. Now, this is a slightly different version. This is not if you've seen them at a school talk or something. This year, you're inviting them to an event. And this one says, you're invited to a Children's Beginners Martial Arts Workshop. And it tells what's going to happen. And then down here, you can either handwrite in the date and time that you're going to do it, or if you've blocked out a time on Saturdays at 10 o'clock for your mass intro, you got an hour empty on a floor somewhere, main floor or a secondary floor, then you could even put on the date and time every Saturday at 10 a.m. And then you've got these cards for your instructors to be passing around town, and get those cards out. Set a goal to get out 250, 500 a week in different businesses and schools and so forth. And if they're going in to eat lunch somewhere, leave a couple on the table or hand them out to the families they see. These are two tools, similar but slightly different. One, mass intro card, you've seen them at a presentation. You're inviting them back for the second part of it. This one, you've never seen them before, and you're inviting them to an event. Now, if you're theming up your events later, this could be Kid Safe Workshop, Bully Proof Workshop, but this one that I'm showing you is Children's Beginning Martial Arts Workshop.
Oh, this week there was an example of us needing to have this. So one of my instructors went and did a talent show, right, with the kid. But last second, he was able to give a card to all the kids in the entire elementary school. So we hope to have a great mass intro this Saturday. But if we wouldn't have had those cards, he wouldn't have had anything to give 350
So
kids.
he went in and he did the talent show.
With a student of ours. Yeah.
Well, that's a great idea too. Now, the schools, by the time you guys are watching this, our school's in this coming week here in the South. Your schools are probably ending quick. Yeah. But those up in the Northeast, talent shows usually happen at the end of the year. And you should, this week, guys, man, that's a good tip right there. Yeah. This week, ask all your kids, guys, do you guys have talent shows coming up? Would anybody in here like to be in the talent show? And I'll come with you and perform with you, or I'll coach you. We'll have a special class for anybody that wants to be on a talent show, and we'll design you a routine to do at the show. Free publicity. Yeah. So your guy did that, and he went in. But
then he just asked while I was there, is there any way that all the kids that watched could have an invitation to a workshop I'm having this Saturday? And the principal said yes. So 350 kids got the card, and I'm sure we'll have a great mass intro Saturday.
Couldn't do it unless the cards weren't available.
Exactly.
And then on the other side, what to put, because it's free to print on the other side. Either do your $29.95 two-lesson trial program, or advertise your martial arts birthday parties, because it doesn't cost any more to print on the other side. All right, guys. All right, here's an important. Right now, I've had a lot of questions over what to do when a parent comes to you wanting to cancel, postpone, or freeze their memberships over the summer. Right? This is a very important concept. So I've had like 5 people. So what I did was I organized a special report. There's a video. There is some materials, a letter that you're going to send out to stop this from happening immediately, how to handle that response if it happens, the communication, and then even an idea that you start doing tomorrow so this never happens again in your school. So now how are you going to get this special report on this is you're going to go to barryvanover.com and simply subscribe to the Black Belt Business Newsletter. And that's on the front page. So when you go in and you put your name and email and you subscribe to it, I'm going to send you that special report. Probably you're watching the show on Tuesday. That's probably going to be available for us to email out Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So if you want that special report, go on today and subscribe at barryvanover.com to our Black Belt Weekly newsletter. And that's a Black Belt Business newsletter. All right, that is the show.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.